Okay.
Thank you.
Welcome, Oge.
Thank you.
Big welcome from the Brighton TEDx audience for you.
Hi, everyone.
So thanks so much for joining us today. It's a real pleasure to be able to speak to you in front of an audience because we've had a few chats over different years about different topics. And I suppose one of the things I really wanted to start off with asking you about, we're going to hear more about your experience in a minute, but that question of who owns nature and who benefits from nature, I know this is a really important question for you, and perhaps you could just share with everyone your experience of that.
Yeah, I guess for most of my life, growing up, I really didn't have a connection with nature or the outdoors. I think for me, I believed, like most people do, that Black people don't hike or Black people don't insert the outdoor activity. And so it wasn't something that I saw myself represented in. And then when I did go to more kind of rural areas, I was met with either hostility or feeling unwelcomed or outright racism. And so it was something that I brushed off as something that I couldn't participate in or experience. But that really changed for me in 2018. There isn't anything special about 2018 other than my friend who was really incessant about going out on walks and hikes. I eventually did go on a walk with them, and that really awakened my love for hiking. I felt like there was something in nature that I experienced that I hadn't felt before. And so that all led to a trip to Dartmoor in 2018. And here you can see me in my sister's waterproof jacket that is 2 sizes too small. I'm wearing the worst type of jogging bottoms, and you can't see it here, but I'm wearing just the inappropriate footwear for the environment, for the moorlands in Dartmoor. But the smile on my face, I just had the biggest smile on my face, and it reminded me that I just belonged. I belonged in nature, and that's where my love for hiking was birthed.
Amazing. Amazing story, amazing origin story of your trip, first sort of significant trip into nature. I suppose maybe could you expand a little more on why you felt that nature wasn't for you before this trip? You mentioned a few negative experiences that you'd had. Can you tell us a little bit more about that?
Yeah, of course. So we all know that there are so many benefits to nature. There is a significant impact of being in nature for your well-being and for your mental health and everything like that. But I think that we don't all get to enjoy nature equitably or inclusively. When we look at some of the data, the People and Natural Environment Survey in 2018-2019 found that ethnic communities have an average 11 times less access to green spaces. And of the time that Black, Asian, and ethnic minority backgrounds do spend in nature, only 15% of it is in the countryside, and that is compared to 38% for people from white backgrounds. So in that same People and the Natural Environment Survey, the recent one they did in 2022-23, they found that Black and Black British adults were more likely to have made no visits to green or natural spaces within a 14-day period. And that was the highest among any ethnic group. And so when that's looked at from a gender perspective, we see Black or Black British women were amongst the highest respondents to have made no visits to green or natural spaces within a 14-day period. So in that same survey, when they asked respondents, what were some of the reasons why you don't visit or you haven't been able to visit a green or natural space, ethnic minority adults were more concerned with encountering prejudice than white adults. So encountering prejudice is a real barrier to those from ethnic communities, especially trying to experience nature and the outdoors. So the question is, do we take this seriously enough? And so from the data, we can see that there is so much work to do, not just for kind of feeling welcomed in the outdoors, but people who live in rural communities, do they think about the spaces that they live in and how unwelcoming that they can be to some people? I think, people will say, you can just go out and get up and go. There's nothing wrong with it. No one is stopping you. But it's not necessarily easy to do that, especially if you've had negative or harmful or racist experiences when you have tried to do things like that. So I think for me, what has really helped me find a way to journey through kind of breaking that barrier was being part of an amazing group called Black Girls Hike. And the main focus of Black Girls Hike has really been to create that safe space for Black women to explore the outdoors and experience everything that the outdoors has to offer.
Amazing. So this group was formed when? 4 or 5 years ago, is that right?
Yes, so...
Tell us about that.
So Black Girls Hike was founded in 2019 as a way to really challenge that lack of diversity and representation in the outdoors. Community is a big part of our ethos. We want to be able to provide that safe space for Black women to explore and connect and be curious and be confident in nature and not feel alone. And so we want to be able to provide those experiences that may have been dismissed because people felt like they didn't really see themselves doing any of those activities.
Sure. Tell us a little about how your first experience of Black Girls Hike was like.
So one thing that has been amazing to see around Black Girls Hike is how much we've grown since 2019. So we've been able to not just kind of provide those amazing hiking experiences, but we offer kind of international trips as well. So we've been able to kind of take Black women hiking in Madeira, in Ghana, in Morocco. We've done ski trips. Like, we've done youth hikes, we've done so many amazing things. But one of my fondest memories with Black Girls Hike was leading my first walk in 2020.
Okay.
It was the first kind of London hike in Epping Forest. And I remember just feeling really nervous and overwhelmed about having to do my first hike, and I thought only about 30 people would come. But then when we were in the car park, there was just a sea of Black women that was coming onto the platform, and there was just so many people there. It was just such an amazing experience, just to see so many Black women, to even just be able to lead so many women, and to share that experience with everyone. And that will always be the fondest memory for me. And that's when I knew, you can see again the biggest smile on my face. Yeah. But that's me realizing that I was in my element and we were onto something in creating this space for Black women.
Absolutely, and it sounds like it's grown massively since these early days in 2020, so congratulations on that.
Thank you.
I guess just to close things off in our conversation, I'm aware that obviously there's the hiking aspect, there's the access to nature, but also there's something about bringing together community. And I'd be really interested to hear your thoughts around the importance of participation and community and creating safe space. So tell us a little bit about that.
Yeah, I think community is so important, not just for us as Black Girls Hike or any type of community group, but I think for nature as well. Having kind of that like-minded community provides that support network. You feel like you're not alone. You have other people that you can share those experiences with. And so it's really important to kind of have those spaces of community. And I wouldn't be the hiker that I am today if I didn't have a space like Black Girls Hike to explore things freely without judgment and just knowing that there was other people there to support me. I've heard countless stories of women saying that if being part of Black Girls Hike has allowed them to have the experiences that they necessarily wouldn't have previously and really push themselves out in nature and the outdoors. It reminds me of why groups like Black Girls Hike are important and different community groups are important. Especially when we go back to thinking about who actually has access to belong in nature. I think that's why community groups and participation is really important. I think when I think about the importance of community groups, it reminds me that people belong and that they're not alone. It also reminds me of this quote that in nature, nothing exists alone, nor should it.
Amazing. And that's a really suitable point to finish up our conversation. Best of luck with Black Girls Hike going forward.
Thank you.
Please get up, Oge.
Thank you.